Maybe no one told you, but the future isn't a lottery. It's a sequence. Paradox. When you release haste, the pieces align faster. Controversial. The universe doesn't reward the deserving. It confirms coherence. Counterintuitive statement. Brute effort doesn't decide. The quality of the state you act from does. Quick reward. Today, with 3 micro-adjustments, you can shift your perceptible timeline. He speaks to you like someone lighting a lantern in the dark. No magical promises. Maps, steps, and applicable examples. You'll see how purpose becomes code, image becomes body, word becomes action. You'll feel your energy writing answers before the yes arrives, and you'll understand why some harvest in silence, while others speed up and go nowhere. If what you've tried so far has been half done, breathe. The formula you were missing isn't complicated, it's coherent. It ties 4 dimensions together and closes the circuit with gratitude and worthiness. Today, you'll learn to see before you see, feel before you have, act before you're sure. Curious to test it in 24 hours and watch the signs? Let's go slowly and deeply. Purpose, the starting point. He always said, if you don't know where you're going, you accept any destination. Purpose is like a silent compass that points north, even when everything around looks confusing. Without it, a person gets lost on paths that shine on the outside, but empty them inside. It's like walking in circles in a desert without references, and deep down, every human feels born for something greater. Imagine a young athlete who discovers his purpose is to compete. With every exhausting practice, even in pain, he keeps going because he knows why he's running. Now compare that with someone who just runs without knowing where they want to go. The fatigue is heavier. Purpose gives meaning to effort, turns wear into discipline, and makes sacrifice taste like victory. The same happens with a mother who consciously decides her mission is to raise her children with solid values. Even when the routine is hard, she finds strength in something invisible, the certainty that her dedication will echo in the future. That's purpose. An energy not explained only by logic, but that moves mountains. Without this north, life becomes mere survival. It's curious how many spend years chasing results without first stopping to ask, why do I want this? Whoever finds the simple answer to that question skips steps. Purpose isn't just what you do, but why and for whom. It's the silent secret behind motivation that doesn't fade. Without it, any goal is just vanity. Some discover it early, others take time. And that's okay. Purpose isn't handed on a platter, it reveals itself gradually as a person matures. Sometimes it appears in the silence of prayer, other times in the impact of a loss. The important thing is to be open to hear, because purpose speaks softly, and only those who quiet the world's noise can perceive it. A practical example. Write down 3 moments in your life when you felt true joy and meaning in what you were doing. Notice what those experiences have in common. Perhaps the thread connecting those points is already the sketch of your purpose. Purpose isn't invented. It's discovered by looking inward and connecting the signs. When purpose aligns, even difficulties look different. Failure stops being the end of the road and becomes part of learning. It's like sharpening a sword. Friction doesn't destroy, it shapes the blade. Those who live without purpose fear obstacles. Those who live with purpose embrace them as part of the process. That's the secret that builds resilience. But purpose alone doesn't build the future. It's the map, but the map doesn't walk by itself. Something else is needed, something that gives shape to the invisible. And here we enter the second step of this quantum formula, the direction of thought, the invisible code that begins writing destiny long before it materializes. If purpose is the compass, directed thought is the secret code that starts programming the future. Every reality is born first in the invisible, like a seed resting under the soil before it sprouts. The curious thing is how many people underestimate the force of a simple thought, as if it were just a passing cloud. But thoughts are like molds. Sooner or later, life adjusts to them. Imagine a programmer writing code. Each line defines what the system will be able to execute. If there's an error, the result will differ from what's expected. With the mind, it's the same. Thought is life's source code, and each repeated line creates patterns. That's why those who constantly think scarcity find closed doors, while those who think possibilities start seeing opportunities. He himself remembered when he had no resources, but held a fixed idea in mind. Launch a project that seemed impossible. At first, no one believed, but he kept repeating that vision internally. Little by little, without noticing, he began attracting conversations, encounters, even offers pointing in the same direction. It was as if the universe conspired, but the truth is, his mind was already emitting signals. Thought is like an antenna. It not only receives frequencies but also transmits them. When a person insists on the same mental pattern, it's as if they're tuning a radio station. Suddenly people, ideas, and circumstances that vibrate at the same frequency start to appear. Chance loses power and coherence gains space. A simple exercise is to observe which thoughts dominate your mind in the early morning hours. They set the tone for the day. If the first idea is anxiety, the rest tends to follow that flow. But if the first thought is gratitude or clear direction, the brain starts aligning to that code. Small mental choices create big consequences. It's fascinating that the mind doesn't distinguish between real and imagined. When someone keeps replaying failure scenarios in their head, the body reacts with real fear. Likewise, when they imagine victories with detail, the body starts preparing for them. This shows thinking isn't passive. It's creating invisible prototypes of what hasn't arrived yet. That's why caring for thought is like tending a garden. If the soil is fertile but you plant weeds, that's what will grow. The secret is to pull what doesn't serve and choose, consciously, what to sow. Some do that with uplifting reading, others with meditation, others with simple phrases reminding them what they want to build. The important thing is watering daily. But directing thought still isn't enough. You must go beyond the idea and begin to visualize in detail. That's the next step in this formula. Clear mental vision. It's not just thinking, but seeing before seeing. Building inside the mind the exact image of what doesn't exist yet in the physical world. Topic 3. Clear mental vision. He knew, before the world sees, the mind must see. See with sharpness, with texture, with smell and sound. It's not loose fantasy, it's internal project, silent rehearsal. Whoever sees within prepares the body to obey, and the future, curiously, tends to respect those who've already treated it as present. Think of the engineer who raises the bridge on paper before the concrete. Each stroke reduces uncertainty, each calculation calms the build. When it's time to construct, chaos doesn't command, the plan does. Life is the same. Mental vision is reality's pre-build. Without that sketch, any wind becomes a storm. He used a simple routine. Close his eyes for 3 minutes. In the first, he saw the final scene like a film in high definition. In the second, he felt the environment, light, temperature, voices around. In the third, he saw himself acting, step by step, naturally. When he opened his eyes, the body was already rehearsed to execute. Michael Phelps did this. He swam the whole race without water, in his head. He visualized the start, the turns, even his goggles fogging. When an unforeseen event happened, the brain already had a script. Victory then seemed obvious, because it had been repeated inside. It's the power to see before seeing, and practice, not luck. For many, visualizing sounds too mystical. For him, it was mental hygiene. Clear away noise, organize images, standardize arrival sensations. An exercise, choose a goal and describe it with 5 senses. What's the smell of the place? What's the weight of the object in your hands? The more concrete inside, the less nebulous outside. Neuroscience has whispered this for years. The brain trains with images. Muscles are recruited, circuits reinforced, synapses thickened. Those who visualize precisely don't daydream, they condition responses. It's like mapping the terrain so the foot won't hesitate on the stone. The body, grateful, understands the path and reduces doubt. Simple tools help. Vision boards, first-person scripts, guided audios recorded in your own voice. 5 minutes post-sleep. Books like Psycho-Cybernetics by Maltz highlight this practice. The idea isn't to fantasize miracles, but to rehearse coherence. When the inner image stabilizes, external action flows serenely. Even so, seeing within needs a quiet verb, to affirm. Fix the image with words that identify it, that name it. Without this self-talk, vision disperses, dissolving in the noise. It's the next step in the formula, affirmation that becomes identity. Because whoever names themselves well-named creates the doer who executes. Affirmation self-talk. He realized early, the inner voice sponsors destiny. If the world says you can't and he whispers I can, something shifts. Affirmation isn't a shout, it's calm, steady, daily repetition. It's like water on stone. It doesn't win by force, but by constancy. Self-talk is the invisible teacher training the inner student. Think of an audio track looping softly every day. At first, it seems like background noise. Later, it becomes the soundtrack. With the mind, it's the same. Repeated words become thought rails. And rails once laid guide the train without effort. Identity is born from what one tells oneself about oneself. He tested a simple phrase, I am a clear and serene communicator. He repeated it upon waking in the shower on the way home. He noticed that in tense meetings, his breathing slowed by itself. The phrase had already trained the body to choose serenity. Consistent self-talk reprograms reactions before the trigger. To apply, be practical. Choose a short, positive, present tense affirmation. No don't and never. The mind likes affirmative images. Examples: I finish what I start. I act with gentle courage. Record it on your phone. Listen 3 minutes upon waking and before sleep. In 30 days, the brain treats it as house standard. It works best when the phrase sticks to the vision already built. If the image is running a marathon, the anchor word is, I'm consistent. If the vision is entrepreneurship, the anchor could be, I'm solution in motion. A good affirmation fits real life, not just a motivational poster. It must fit in your mouth, mates, and in your daily steps. There's science behind the simple. Focus repeats, repetition reinforces, reinforcement consolidates. The brain saves energy on known routes, offer better routes. Write the phrase on the mirror, set an alarm, keep a note in your wallet. The more contexts, the easier the mind remembers the way. It's neural education, patience, kindness, persistence. And when the critical voice attacks, he didn't fight it, he redirected it. Thank you, mind, for trying to protect me, and he returned to the anchor phrase. He also used bridge questions. What's the next step for who I am? This question invites identity to act, not to justify. Thus, affirmation leaves the page and enters the gesture. Even so, word without warmth becomes an echo that fades in the air. It needs fuel. Feeling that heats the phrase and makes it alive. Anticipatory gratitude, quiet joy, peace in the chest. That fixes the script. In the next step of the formula, he connects emotion to vision, like motor to gasoline. Because without feeling, even the best affirmation stalls by the roadside. Feeling the fuel, he understood. Vision without feeling is a lighthouse without power. The inner image points the way, but emotion moves the car. When the chest warms, the body responds. The step gains cadence. It isn't noise, it's a serene heat that pushes without pushing. The future respects those who feel the future as if it were already present. Think of an engine. The structure is impeccable, but without fuel there's no journey. With the heart it's the same. Intention ignites, feeling makes it move. Quiet joy, peace, gratitude, high-octane fuels. Fear and haste burn poorly. They produce noise and waste. He started simple. 3 minutes of anticipatory gratitude. He closed his eyes and gave thanks for the result, as if it had already arrived. He felt the texture of relief, the lightness on the shoulder, the spontaneous smile. The body, educated by that chemistry, began to seek coherence, and the mind, aligned, stopped sabotaging what it claimed to want. Practical exercise. Choose a scene from your vision. Breathe 4 to 2, 6 3 times, and bring a feeling that matches it. For health, peace. For courage, enthusiasm. For focus, active serenity. Hold the emotion in your chest for 30 seconds. Nothing epic, just stable. Then write, today I act as someone who already feels this. Neuroscience gives the clue. Emotion grants the brain priority. What carries effective charge becomes the preferred pathway. That's why repeating cold phrases helps little. Warm them from within. The right song, a proof memory, a photo anchor help. The aim is simple, make the vision emotionally obvious. On cloudy days, he used microsparks. A short walk in the sun, cold water on the face, a 2-minute stretch. Small interventions lift baseline mood and unlock action. Then he would connect that energy to the desired scene, like a jumper cable. Subtle but decisive. Emotion first, strategy after. Another tool was the States Journal. 3 columns, current sensation, trigger used, coherent action executed. Over time, he discovered his personal ignition kit. For some, it's prayer. For others, silence. For others, movement. The secret is to individualize the fuel and keep the tank full. Even so, feeling needs a container. Without form, it evaporates. With form, it becomes daily life. And the best form is writing and organizing in space and time. Because what isn't written doesn't put down roots in the schedule. That's the next step in the formula. Map emotion into roots and dates. Writing and organizing in space-time. He learned the simple way. What isn't written evaporates. Desires are smoke. Written commitments become warming fire. When the pen touches paper, the idea gains gravity. The mind understands this matters and starts to prioritize. Writing turns intention into coordinates. Think of a travel map. Without an itinerary, every turn seems like chance. With one, every turn has purpose. Dates, times, visual milestones. The road becomes legible. Life is grateful when it turns into a comprehensible itinerary. Organization is kindness to your own future. He used 3 containers: paper, calendar, and routine. On paper, he put the vision in short, measurable sentences. On the calendar, Google, physical, or both, he marked action windows. In routine, he created triggers. After coffee, 20 minutes on the project. 3 layers, 1 north. Practical exercise on a clean desk. List 3 90-day goals in present tense sentences. For each, write 3 weekly micro-deliveries. Schedule a fixed block with an alarm and an action name, verb first. Review script 1 to 3, 40-minute. Simple, no drama. He created an evidence board. Columns, vision, next action, deadline, status, small win. Every Friday, 5 minutes to mark progress, even minimal. The brain loves crossing off tasks. Honest dopamine moves mountains. Visible progress defeats invisible perfectionism. For long projects, he applied the 1-3-5 rule. 1 big task, 3 medium, 5 small in the day. Nothing heroic, just sustainable. When the schedule got too full, he recalled, "Today's no protects tomorrow's yes." Saying no is organization too. Logbook minimalist version, 3 lines at night. What did I advance? Where did I stall? What's the next clear step? Stalled, break the action down to fit into 10 minutes. E.g., open file and write the first 2 subheadings. Small, doable, repeatable, the triad that builds. Writing gives form. Now it's time to give movement. Paper orients, the calendar reminds, but action turns the key. Not any action. Inspired, energetic action coherent with the vision. That's the next step. Acting while tuning to the right station. Because the frequency you emit is the frequency that attracts what you need. Inspired action plus energy. He discovered there's a difference between acting from anxiety and acting from alignment. Inspired action isn't rush. It's calm movement, yet decided. It comes from an inner place that says, this way, even without guarantees. When that sensation appears, the body feels light and the step natural. It's like dancing to the right rhythm. No strain, no needless friction. Many wait for the perfect moment and miss the train. He preferred a simple method, a micro-action in up to 10 minutes. Open the file, draft the first sentence, send the first message. The small act generates traction. Traction invites focus. Focus summons energy. And energy in motion finds paths no one sees while standing still. Real example. A creator began posting daily videos when almost no one watched. No expensive camera, no set, just consistency and presence. The energy of doing, every day, tuned in the right audience. Ideas improved because the daily act refined his ear. Action, humble at the start, became an antenna that caught opportunity. He used the breathing test to check coherence. If breath grew short, perhaps it was vanity or haste. If it naturally lengthened, there was a green light to proceed. Inspired action usually comes with quiet peace, not noise. It's physiological compass. The body confirms what the mind chooses. A simple protocol helps ignite the engine. 3 Grang in 1. 3, 4, 2 to 6 breaths. 1 anchor phrase, I act with serenity. 1 concrete micro-action in up to 10 minutes. Nothing epic, just clear. This track reduces friction and teaches the brain that starting is safe. Inspiration, however, likes a favorable environment. He arranged the space, clean desk, water nearby, phone away. Ambient sound that doesn't distract, soft light, protected time block. Energy appreciates when the house is set to receive it. A ready setting multiplies the chance of the right action happening. When stuck, he switched task for state. He walked 5 minutes in the sun, stretched, prayed in silence. He returned different, then chose the lightest next action. The right energy chooses better than a tired mind. Shifting state first often saves hours of brute effort. But acting by itself doesn't guarantee results if each part pulls a different way. Action gains power when body, mind, emotion, and energy play together. 4 dimensions, 1 direction, like horses guiding the same carriage. It's the next step. Align the inner team to zero out friction. When that happens, the future stops being theory and begins to take shape. Topic 8. Alignment of the 4 dimensions. He noticed results stalled when each part pulled one way. The mind wanted to go, the body asked for pause, emotion feared, energy scattered. Alignment isn't rigidity, it's inner cooperation, gentle and constant. 4 dimensions, 1 direction, body, mind, emotion, and energy. When the team plays together, the path becomes quietly inevitable. The image guiding him was simple: 4 horses and a carriage. If one bolts, the others wear out. If one balks, all lose rhythm. The secret lies in the driver, presence that adjusts the reins with care. No whip, just fine listening and small corrections. Inside, it's the same loving coordination, not civil war. He started with the body, the most honest horse, regular sleep, enough water, food that brings clarity instead of weight, 15 minutes of conscious movement to wake the system. When the body cooperates, the mind becomes more teachable. Without physiological base, any strategy is a house of cards. Then came the mind. Thought hygiene before opening to the world. 2 minutes of 4-2-6 breathing, 1 guiding question for the day. What's the next simple action that honors my vision? He wrote the answer and anchored focus on the essential. Aligned mind prevents the day from being hijacked by noise. Emotions were treated like weather, not sentence. He named what he felt: light sadness, apprehension, serene joy. Naming reduces weight. It gives a handle to hold. If needed, he used micro-interventions: music, prayer, sun on the face. Emotion, welcomed, began rowing in favor. Energy was the invisible orchestra setting the rhythm. He cared for what recharged him: brief silence, nature, gratitude. He cut leaks, screen excess, draining conversations, chaotic spaces. He tidied the inner house with small pauses of presence. Organized energy turns effort into flow. Practical tool: the 4x1 check-in 4 times a day. Body, 1 to 10. How is it? Mind, what idea dominates now? Emotion, what's the name of this feeling? Energy, am I recharging or leaking? 1 tiny adjustment per dimension, and the axis returns to place. Another exercise: coherence routine in 3 steps. Heart-focused breathing for 90 seconds, attention on the chest. Recall a sincere moment of appreciation until it warms within. Reread your vision and choose the micro-action from that state. When the quartet plays in tune, the future recognizes the call, and tuned like that, he makes room for the next element: feeling worthy, and giving thanks before receiving. Topic 9. Gratitude and worthiness. He realized the formula closes when the heart learns to receive. Gratitude is the gesture that expands inner space for the new. Worthiness is the quiet permission: I can, I accept, I sustain. Without this pair, life delivers, and the person returns it for not feeling worthy. When both dance together, the flow stops wavering. Gratitude isn't social etiquette, It's perceptual hygiene. It trains the eyes to notice discrete doors that were always there. Those who give thanks shift focus from what's missing to what works. And the brain, obedient, starts seeking more of what works. Thus, reality reconfigures itself without fanfare. He instituted a simple ritual, 3 specific thank yous at night. Nothing generic, tiny, real, dated things. Thanks for the replied email, for the sincere conversation, for 10 minutes of sun. In 21 days, baseline mood rose, and courage too. Frequent gratitude is subtle strength training for hope. Worthiness, in turn, requires untying old knots, inherited beliefs like, "It's not for me, too good spoils, who am I?" He answered with gentle firmness, "I'm responsible for evolving what I receive." Receiving became service, not guilt, commitment, not shame. Thus, dignity stopped being a promise and became a posture. Practical exercise, worthiness journal. Columns, I received, how do I sustain it, who else benefits? This shifts the narrative from ego to purpose. When the gain serves many, the mind authorizes growth. To deserve becomes coherence with the impact you intend. He also practiced anticipatory gratitude, as we've seen. He thanked for the result before it arrived, not to force, but to open space. This educates the psyche to sustain the harvest without self-sabotage. The emotion of already is reduces the friction of not yet, and the path becomes quieter and curiously faster. Signs that worthiness is aligned. He accepts compliments without shrinking, negotiates clearly, keeps promises to himself. Signs of misalignment, he delays good opportunities, overcompensates, hides. When that appears, he returns to basics, breathe, affirm, act small and grateful. The axis returns and life resumes cooperation. With gratitude and worthiness, the formula closes in a virtuous circle. Purpose, thought, vision, word, feeling, writing, action, alignment. And now, openness to receive. The future, then, doesn't arrive by chance. It arrives by coherent invitation, and in that serene vibration the next stage appears. A beginning that looks like an ending, and an ending that opens a new beginning. Everything he shared isn't pretty theory. It's daily practice, made simple, repeatable. Purpose as compass, thought as code, vision as rehearsal, word that becomes identity, feeling that moves, writing that anchors, inspired action, inner alignment, gratitude that opens space, worthiness that sustains. Now it's with you, small but today. Which 10-minute micro-action proves in practice who you decided to be? Which affirmation will loop while you make coffee tomorrow morning? What 3 lines will you write tonight in your journal? Progress, bottlenecks, next step? And what can you already give thanks for now, before it arrives? If fear shows up, don't fight it. Walk it to the door. 3, 4, 2 to 6 breaths, loose shoulders, feet grounded. Return to your anchor phrase. Choose the lightest next action. Execute. The universe responds to coherence, not haste. Walk serenely and watch the signs. I want to hear from you. Which part of this formula made the most sense for your phase? What evidence of lightness did you notice in the next 24 hours? Write in the comments. Your experience may unlock someone today. Let's build this field together. If this content supported you, let it keep accompanying you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, bell on, to receive the next practices. Leave a like to signal this message matters. Share it with someone who needs a north now, and save it to revisit when the pace speeds up. From here we proceed step by step with presence and kindness. The formula is in your hands. The future waits on the other side of your next choice. When you decide, it decides for you too, slowly and deeply.